Welcome back to San Diego. In this episode, we're going to explore the heart of San Diego's nightlife, the Gaslamp Quarter. But not only is it known for its many bars, restaurants, and nightclubs, there are also a lot of historic buildings giving this area its unique charm and character. And with that, let's go ahead and start the tour. The Gaslamp Quarter spans over 16 and a half blocks in downtown San Diego, just steps from the Convention Center, Seaport Village, the Embarcadero, and Little Italy. We'll start the tour at Petco Park, walk over to the south entrance of the Gaslamp Quarter, and stroll along 5th Avenue, the main street of the Gaslamp. We'll also check out a few places on some of the side streets. Petco Park is the home of the Major League Baseball team San Diego Padres. They've been playing at the stadium since 2004. It has also been used as a venue for concerts, soccer, golf, football, and rugby. As we turn onto Harbor Drive, we see the train tracks. If you arrive via San Diego Trolley, you'll exit at the Gaslamp Quarter station to get to the Gaslamp, the ballpark, and also the Convention Center, which you see here across the street. The most notable convention that takes place here every year is Comic-Con. And then this is where we officially get into the Gaslamp Quarter, which was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1980. In 1986, the idea of installing this Archway sign was conceived, but it took until 1990 for it to be built and installed. The cost was $150,000 and it weighs 6 tons. Right here at the Archway sign is also where you find the Hard Rock Hotel, a 4-star property. I've stayed here a couple of times and can certainly recommend it. However, not if you're looking for a quiet, relaxing place. It's more of a party scene, especially on the weekends. Their float rooftop pool club has become quite popular over the years, and the season kicks off in April. Just a few steps further, we see the old spaghetti factory housed in this 2-story brick structure built in 1898. If you turn right behind the building onto K Street, you'll eventually get to the San Diego Marriott Gaslamp Quarter. They have a very cool rooftop bar on the 22nd floor with some stunning views of the city, and you even have a premier view of Petco Park, so definitely a great spot to grab some cocktails. So where does the name Gaslamp Quarter come from? If you watched my Old Town San Diego video, you already know that Old Town used to be the center of San Diego, but in 1867, Alonzo Horton, known as the father of downtown, purchased hundreds of acres of waterfront property and built a wharf at the end of 5th Avenue, the street we are on, and began to develop what back then was called New Town. Within only a few years, the area began thriving and ultimately became the new center of San Diego. The city installed about 50 gas lamp street lights to light up this new modern part of town, which gave this area its name. And as you walk the streets today, you can still see those lamps. The cross street here is Island Avenue, and if you turn left, you get to the Horton Grand Hotel, a beautiful, unique property. This is definitely not your standard cookie-cutter chain hotel. I loved staying here in the past, so this is another place I can recommend staying at while you're visiting San Diego. At this intersection where the hotel is located, 4th and Island Avenue, you'll also find the Gaslamp Museum at the Davis-Horton building, the oldest standing structure in downtown San Diego, built in 1850. The museum offers all kinds of tours, including a Gaslamp Quarter walking tour, and since this area is known to be haunted, they also offer ghost tours. Alright, we are back on 5th Avenue. This beautiful red brick building with the twin spires is the Yuma building, a classic example of Victorian architecture. Construction started in the early 1880s, and expansions from a 1-story to a 3-story building took place in that same decade. It features bay windows and a large skylight that lighted the upper 2 stories. Throughout the years, a variety of businesses occupied the building, and in 1901, the upper floors were converted to furnished rooms and were operated as the Santa Isabel, and in 1910, it became known as the Grand. In 1912, the Grand gained notoriety for becoming the first stop of the Great Raid of 1912. So what happened? Along with respectable merchants in the area, a red light district known as the Stingaree emerged in early Newtown. Gambling halls, bars, and brothels thrived in the Stingaree until the aforementioned raid in 1912, where officers raided numerous houses, including the Grand, and arrested 138 women who were subsequently shipped out of town by train. Main reason for the raid was the announcement that the city would host the Panama California Exposition in 1915, and the police chief was receiving increasing pressure from different organizations to clean up the Stingaree. The Panama California Exposition is also why Balboa Park is home to so many historic buildings. You can learn more about that in my Balboa Park video. To the left in the white building is the Tipsy Crow, my go-to spot for going out in the Gaslamp. They have 3 different floors. On the main level you have your typical bar type atmosphere. In the basement is the underground where you can dance the night away. It was dead while I was there, but it does get crowded, especially on weekends. And then we head all the way up to the lounge area, which features 2 fireplaces, a lush law library, and pool table. The Tipsy Crow is inside the Spencer Ogden building, which was built in 1874, and it has quite the interesting past. In 1887, a chemist who was making firecrackers accidentally spilled turpentine on sulfur, inciting a massive explosion and fire. In the 1920s, the Prohibition era, tenants in the building were listed as selling cigars or being service clubs. You all know the saying, if only walls could talk. Well, in this case, they actually can. When the building underwent remodeling in 2010, the original basement walls revealed signage in an old German dialect that said, "A clever boozer already pockets his house keys in the morning." So, could it have been something else during Prohibition than what it was listed as? Leading further credence to this theory are underground tunnels leading from the basement towards the waterfront. On the right, we are approaching the Lewis Bank of Commerce building, built during San Diego's boom years of the 1880s. This 4-story Baroque revival structure possesses so many noteworthy and elaborate Victorian architectural features that it has been dubbed the Queen of the Gaslamp. It is also reputed to be the most photographed building in the Gaslamp. If you look closely, you can see that there are only 3 balconies, giving the building a somewhat unbalanced look. Some building materials did not make it in time to San Diego from the East Coast, which is why 1 balcony is missing. I hope this tour helps you maneuver through the Gaslamp Quarter, which has so much to offer. With it being such a popular nightlife spot, a lot of people forget or simply don't know how much history and historic buildings are in the area. If you enjoy these kinds of tours and insights into different destinations, please consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it, and with that, I say thank you and Dankeschön!